Good morning, guys. Happy Tuesday. So, I want to look at something else here this morning that is Russia Ukraine and not shooting and all this sort of crap. Okay. A lot of people, including me, have talked about China's watching closely, Iran's watching closely to see what happens. You know who else is watching real closely? Klaus Schwab, the World Economic Forum. Because what's going on between Russia and Ukraine is playing right into the hands of the dreams, wishes, smoke up your ass thoughts of Schwab and the rest of the lunatic left. All right? This World Economic Forum bullshit. Now, I'm not talking about the depopulation thing. Hey, war's good for killing people. We know that. More, I'm talking about food. Now, believe it or not, all the video we remember seeing about the Soviet Union, people standing in line waiting for bread or butter or bananas or whatever the hell, and I mean, which is all true. Okay, that all did happen during the Soviet era. Russia is actually a net exporter of food to the tune of about $34 billion a year. Ukraine is also a net exporter of food to the tune of about $5 billion a year. Now, neither one of the countries are top 10 food exporters of the year. Neither one of the countries are top 10 food exporters in the world. But, when you do an experiment, you don't usually go with the biggest thing. Okay, the U.S. is the biggest food exporter in the world. We're not going to try to do something that, Schwab isn't going, hey, cool, let's see if we can stoke some problems here and get the U.S. to stop feeding the world. That's a little ridiculous, okay? But playing into what the World Economic Forum does. So who's going to suffer? Now, you look at some of the countries that get their food from Russia or Ukraine. China is Russia's third largest customer, okay? Turkey is the second largest, okay? Guess who the biggest customer of Russia is? The EU, okay? So you look at something like this and go, not only have we screwed Europe with gas, oil, fertilizer, we're also going to screw them with food. I want to talk about making people desperate. Make them cold and hungry. Okay, this is a good possibility. So now go into what the World Economic Forum has flat out said. We need you to eat sustainable food. We need you to eat weeds. We need you to eat bug burgers, this sort of stuff. This is exactly what Schwab is going like this for. Okay, this is all working. Now how can we worm our way into Europe with all this synthetic beyond meat and impossible burgers and all this sort of stuff? How can we do all this? This is what's going on, guys. For years, we've talked about Bill Gates buying up all this farmland. Notice we don't hear what he's doing with it, because, certainly don't think he's going to be planting a bunch of corn. Bill Gates out driving the combine, Right, that's going to happen. What's he planning on doing? Leasing it back to the farmers? Maybe. But, could there be a caveat in there of what they're required to grow or raise or anything? Yeah. This is, it's interesting because you look at all the people that are part of the World Economic Forum. and was watching Angry Prepper's live stream last night, and he referenced a video, and I'll link it below if you want to watch it, on a speech Putin gave to the World Economic Forum 2 months ago. Okay. Is he tied in? Maybe a little bit, but Putin's a little smarter than that. He's probably using the World Economic Forum for what he can get so he can go do his own thing. All right. Remember, Putin has this God complex. He wants to be king. Mrs. P was telling me a story this morning as we were sitting having coffee about a insider to the Russian political circles, if you will, asking somebody who Putin was getting advice from, who his advisors were, who were his influencers. And the response was Peter the Great, Catherine the Great, and Ivan the Terrible, because nobody else will listen to him. Okay. Kind of interesting. So, all the talk about Putin trying to build back the Soviet Union, I still think his aspirations are a lot greater than that. I think he's trying to build back the entire Eastern Bloc, the Warsaw Pact, and go further. If he has the ability to freeze people out, starve people out, again, like I said in a video the other day, if Europe is so dependent on Russian oil, Russian gas, what do vehicles run on? Including military vehicles. Okay? It's not like if there's a war in Europe, Russia's going to go, here, let us send you fuel so you can fuel the tanks to fight us. Think about that, guys. Okay? Where's it going to come from? This is a war of attrition. This is depopulation in that. If you can keep the people from eating, if you can keep the people from moving or staying warm, they become submissive very quickly. Kissinger, he who controls the food, controls the people. Okay? That's the World Economic Forum's goal in this. And they're very happy to see all this fighting going on, because obviously if there's fighting going on in the Ukraine, there ain't a whole lot of crops being planted, okay? Farmers are too worried about tanks running through the field, not tractors running through the field. So now you start cutting down the food supply. This is where it gets important for us. We talked a couple of weeks ago about stocking wheat berries, about stocking flour. But think of anything else that you can feasibly stock. Everybody that says, oh, I'm fully stocked. No, you aren't. You are never fully stocked. The only way I think you could feasibly tell me you are fully stocked is if, is if you know what day you're going to die and you have enough food to get you all the way to that day. Other than that, you don't have enough. You can always pick up another can of carrots, another can of Spam, whatever it would be. Because the other thing that you don't know, I don't know, and nobody can know is who's going to show up on your front doorstep with something that you need, whether it be material good, whether it be skill, whether it just be another body for defense, that all of a sudden you're going to have to feed. Like me, y'all plan, I got 2 people, 3 people, 4 people in my family, and I've got 2 years of food for 4 people. Until 2 other people show up. And now you've got 6 people, and you go, crap, now I've only got a year and a half worth of food for 6 people. Okay? You can always get more. You can always get more now, because you might not always be able to get more tomorrow. This is another thing to look at. There's a lot more to this war than Crimea and Donetsk and Lugansk. If that's so important, why are we going after Kiev? Oh, gee, We want to denazify Ukraine. Yeah, whatever, okay? You're coming up with every bullshit reason that the sheep are buying like crazy. Let's start thinking about the true reasons of what's going on. This is about control of resources. Just like everybody said when the United States went into Iraq, the whole 9 yards, this was a war for oil, a war for oil. Okay? And of course, the media would say, no, we're trying to get rid of a dictator, weapons of mass destruction, whatever, and however minuscule parts of truth there were in there. It was a war for oil. Okay. Why we went into Afghanistan, was it a war for heroin? Who knows? Okay. Don't give me this crap. It was a war for women's rights. Okay. 20 years of people dying over there. Don't see any change whatsoever in Afghanistan. So don't give me that crap. But look at the underlying things. This is an economic and a food and fuel war. This is what it's about, resources. That he who controls the resources controls the people. Let's twist Kissinger's words a little bit. Putin knows that. All right. He's trying to control the resources. If he can squeeze Europe, which is what he's trying to do, it's easy to roll right on through. May take a while to get to North America. Don't think he has a whole lot of aspirations to go east. Okay. If he's got an ally in China, he knows his back door is covered. That means he can just go west. Big problem Hitler had. He had to go two ways. Putin's got that figured out. He only needs to go one. Watch this, guys. Get more food. Otherwise, unless you like eating bugs, figure it out. Can it, dry it, dehydrate it, salt it, freeze it, whatever you can. If you can buy it, figure out some way to store it. If you can grow it, figure out how to grow more. My plan for today, planting. The snow was past. It's time to get some of this stuff in the ground. Pinball out.